3, 2, 1.
Thank you for we are not west though because I'm inside my own house. So
really, not even wearing your mask with being inside, huh?
I did wear my mask to go pick up my prescriptions from.
And you can come home right now. I'll leave the light on. I'll leave the light on. I'll leave the light on.
Bulls Radio Lounge. Belly off the cuff. Or Belly, gut check with Belly. God damn it. Belly, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sorry about that, man. I just screwed up your entire show. But
I'm used to it. I'm just messing with you.
Asshole. No, it's okay, man, because, just technical issues that we have with the freaking Zoom meeting deal, trying to get that worked up. Anyways, it's your show. Off the car. I got to stop saying that. Gut Check with Belly Live.
That's right.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
It seems like you're having a rough night.
No, it's not a rough night. It's just, the thing is when I tear down the stuff to actually so I can work and do other things,
Yeah.
I got to rebuild almost everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and my plan was today in my bunker was have everything ready before now. So that way, because I knew somebody else was using the studio, so I want to have everything done. But I was trying to focus on a project today to get that done to make it look really good. So that took up a lot of the time.
It's all good, bro.
But I mean, listen, there's no excuse. I should have had all this stuff done. It's not anybody else but my fault. So I want to apologize to you and to the audience that's listening. I will take the heat on this one. And by next week, next Sunday, we will have this fully operational and ready to go from the bunker. The hamsters weren't working today.
It's on tape, man, so now you got to own up to it.
No, it's all right. Hey, I'll listen. I'll own up to it. No big deal.
I got you, man. I'm just fucking with you.
No, it's cool, man. It's all good. All right, so big show tonight, huh?
Yeah, man, we got a good show.
Yeah, you got
lined up our first interview. That should be awesome.
Well, I figured I've spoken with Rick Danford before, right? And I've been on a couple different shoots with him, through Joe Winecoop and stuff like that. But I figured it'd probably be a good time for you to kind of get your radio chops sort of wet, if you will, right?
Wet.
So that way we can, see how you do with an interview. Because, being host of a show is not just about being a host of a show, if that makes sense.
A little bit, maybe. Kinda.
Okay. Being a host of a show means that if you have, guests on the show, right?
Right.
It'll make sense to actually interview the guest, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No?
I heard you.
Are you okay with interviewing guests? I mean,
I've never done it before. You kind of sprung this on me last kind of minute, so.
Well, hold on for a minute. Hold on. Trying to find a channel that works properly. Still with an echo. How's that? Would that sound pretty good to you?
Yeah, everything sounds fine.
Now you're in the one ear. God damn it. How's that sound?
Sounds fine.
All right, that sounds better. Sorry, I could hear a little,
okay.
twang in there.
Are you having issues hearing me?
No, just and the connection. There was a little twang. I think it's the board too. So,
Gotcha.
This is the old board. So,
yeah. Plus, this is my smart idea of doing this shit from home too. So I'm not helping out either.
It's all right. It's no big deal, man. It's all good. Everybody has their issues. Everybody has their thing. So
That's right.
That's what live broadcasting is all about. You have to sit there and you think everything works, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work. So you got to figure out how to make it work to do what you need to do to accomplish what you need to have done.
The Matrix 1 today. That's all.
The-
We'll
yes,
just get the Matrix next time.
The Matrix 1. So here's the thing. So 10 o'clock, we're going to have a guest on, Rick Danford, right?
Yeah.
He's a producer, director, writer. He's acted in a lot of movies. A big star in the independent film series. Does lots of different things. Did you get my email, by the way?
I did get the email, but I do have a regular old ham and egg 9 to 5. So I did peruse over it a little bit after work today, in between dinner and getting logged in.
Were you able to even look at some of the prep that I sent you? I spent hours on prepping.
Did you spend hours?
I did spend hours
looked at
on
it.
it. Yeah. Did you
I
look
looked
at it?
I didn't study it in and out, and didn't check for grammatical errors or anything like that. But I did peruse it.
Well, I was expecting it for errors. I was expecting you to, hey, look, that's some great stuff you want to talk about.
Yeah, I'm an asshole enough. I don't need to be an asshole about your prepping.
You're an asshole enough, huh?
Yeah, I'm an asshole enough.
That's nice. That's nice. That's great.
You know.
That's
Just ask anyone that knows me.
You're just an asshole at heart, huh?
I'm just an asshole, opinionated asshole.
It's interesting that you say that, because today was Spaceballs was on the movie channels.
Okay. Yep.
So
I'm surrounded by assholes.
yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I was like, he's an asshole. Well, he's an asshole. Well, I'm surrounded by assholes. So, which is, it's kind of funny, kind of plays into thing. 813-419-3602 is the phone number to call. 813-419-3602. I do believe I have the show number up and ready to go. And that way, if you want to call in, you can talk to Rick Danford when he comes in. I've scheduled him for 10 o'clock, but I want to see, we might have to bump him back a little bit later, to like maybe 10:05-ish. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just to kind of give us a break to kind of ease into the interview and not sort of like, oh my God, we're all going to die type of thing,
Right.
Because of all the technical issues that we've had. If that's
And
okay with
COVID-19.
you.
That's fine with me.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
I mean, because you're the host, so I want to make sure that, everything is
It's
good
cool.
with you,
I'm a go with the flow kind of guy.
You're a go with the flow kind of guy?
Yeah.
Is that
It's
how
it's your station, your channel. So
Now listen, it's your show, buddy. You tell me what
Hey.
you want to do.
hey, let's just
Are we-
do the damn thing.
Are we kissing our own asses over here, by the way? Is that what's
I'm
happening?
sucking up myself off right now.
You hear yourself on the radio, you just want to like, oh, look, let me just do this and do that,
I know. I just get on here to talk for 2 hours because no one else wants to hear me but me.
Trust me, nobody wants to hear me either. So
I know I don't.
thanks,
Just kidding.
appreciate it. So speaking of that, I spoke with Mark the bartender and I spoke with Jazz, and Tuesday's show, I know we've been sort of on a hiatus, and that's because of all the craziness with the COVID-19 and all that stuff like that.
Yes.
So we should be slated. I know Jazz has some things he has to do for next Tuesday, but next Tuesday, if Mark feels okay with his back, that's the problem, is that I might do a solo show on Tuesday. If not, I might see if you want to join in on the festivities on Tuesday.
Next Tuesday? Okay.
Next Tuesday. If you can do next Tuesday, like at 8 o'clock, that'd be kind of cool.
I'll check with Madam Belly. And see if
Yeah,
we got
check
anything
with
going.
Madam Belly and see if you're executive producer, and see if they'll let you out and play for a little bit.
Yeah.
I know it's sort of last minute, but I think I might do just a solo show. I've done it before, but it's very hard to do, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
Well, just to find stuff and make sure it's funny and content related and all that stuff like that. So
Yeah, I got you.
so hopefully we'll do that next Tuesday if we can do it.
Or we can have the Bull in the Belly show.
We could. I mean, I've had people substitute in for like when Mark the bartender is out or something like that, or Jazz is out. I've had people substitute in for, their places.
Yeah.
I know that the Bull and the Bartender show is not going to go anywhere. It's still going to be present on the channel. We're just sort of taking sort of a small hiatus.
Yeah, man. I mean, if Mark has a back issue, I know what it's like. That's why we couldn't do Sunday show. You know, my youngest gave me the old Hulk Hogan leg drop on my neck. And,
that's what I heard. Yeah. How was that,
dude? I'm still in pain, but that I couldn't even move that day. So I was
really?
like couch ridden. And
Oh,
he's
that
like,
sucks.
yeah, he felt really bad. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, it happens, man. You're sick. It's fine. Meanwhile, I was dying a little bit on the inside.
I'm sure. How much pain were you in?
Oh, I was in a lot of pain. Dude.
Were you really?
Yeah, I had to medicate myself up a little bit.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
What kind of
I was
medication?
on the couch.
Was that a kayfabe?
What was that?
What kind of medication was that a kayfabe?
Oh no, I got like muscle relaxers and stuff like that. I was basically a drooling zombie. So when you were texting me, I was like, answering your back, thinking it made sense.
I think I'm gonna have Rick sort of go to the Zoom meeting. I think if I can get it to work. I'm trying to do this while trying to get the show rolling, trying to get everything scheduled.
I got you.
But this guy is a really big in the independent film scene. So I think you'll like him, especially for your first interview, So
yeah, man, you're putting me on the spot here.
Oh, I think you'll do fine. I have great faith in you.
Thanks.
Just I mean, come on, you've done this before,
I don't know who I've interviewed, but if you say so.
Yes, to Juan. We are picking up the phone calls. I have him. Wait, hold on. He's right here. Hold on. Let me just see if I can do it. Hold on. Oh, let me pause that. Stand by, Juan. Hold on.
Club music.
Club music in the background.
Press 1.
I'm going to press 1. All right. Never mind. It went off. Juan, call back if you're calling. See what happens. Let's do this real quick. Let's take a short break. All right.
Yep.
And then when we come back, we'll get into. I'll get Rick Danford. Somebody called. I don't know who called, but somebody called the number. And I was trying to get to the phone. It's kind of hard to kind of like see everything on here and try to do everything on here.
Probably someone trying to call us an assholes.
Probably. Give us a call back, 813-419-3602, and we'll try to get your phone call as quick as possible. Hopefully, if this whole system works. It's always every week that we have to figure out something. So anyways, let's take a short little break, and then when we come back, we're going to get into a little bit more with the stories that we have, which I have them, and I'm about to go through them. Yep. And then we'll get into Rick Danford and get him on the Zoom, and hopefully it'll work with him getting on the Zoom. So are you cool with that?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
I mean, like I said, it's your show, so you tell me what you want to do.
Let's do the damn thing.
All right. We'll be back in a minute. Jesus Christ.
Gut check with Belly Live.
Gut check with Belly Live. I want to say off the cuff. I don't know why. I guess I'm so used to it. Gut check with Belly Live. Be back in a minute. Do not go away. Keep it glued on to youtube.com. Just search Bulls Radio Lounge. Or you go to Facebook and just look up Bulls Space. Or Bulls Radio Space and something like that. Just look it up. So we'll talk to Rick here in a minute. Stand by.
That pussy shit, I don't want what I can get. I want someone with secrets and nobody knows. I need a gangster to love me better than all the others do. To always forgive me, ride or die with me. That's just what gangsters do. My freakness is on the loose and running all over you. Please take me to places that nobody knows. You got me hooked up on the feeling. You got me
4,
hanging from the
3, 2.
ceiling. Got me up so high, I'm barely breathing. So don't let me go. I need a gangster to love me better, baby. All the others do. They do. To always forgive me,
a second, you can't leave me like this.
My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the door. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the door. I ain't got no time to let you know. I gotta go right now. I ain't got no time to let you know about a 2-bus ride on out now. I ain't got no time to let you know. I gotta go, my love. I ain't got no time to let you know about 2 free out. And I know, and I know, and I know.
Let me in the house. I forgot my cat there. Just kidding. It was Jello pudding.
My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down. If I told you once, I told you twice. I don't have to be nice. If I told you once, I told you twice. I don't have to be so nice. If I told you once, I told you twice. I don't have to be nice. I told you once, I told you twice that my love is out the down and now. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down and now. My love is out the down. And I know, and I know, and I know. This is the end of our song.
I got one more scoop of pudding left to eat.
Maybe I'm foolish, or maybe I'm blind, thinking I can see through this and see what's behind. Got no way to prove it, so maybe I'm lying. But I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put your blame on me. Don't put your blame on me. Take a look in the mirror, and what do you see? Do you see it clearer, or are you deceived in what you believe? 'Cause I'm only human after all.
Bulls Radio Lounge. Gut check with Belly Live. YouTube.com. Just search Bulls Radio Lounge. You'll find it right there. Belly, are you there? You are here. That's good. We still have you. That's wonderful. Hopefully Rick Danford is still there. Hopefully.
Yes, I am.
All right. There he is. He's still there too. That's great. That means all the hamsters are working. So Progress. All right. So don't forget to check out West Tampa Dance Studio. It is the #1 spot if you want to go take hip hop, jazz, lyrical, pretty much all the basic dance and hip hop moves that you want to do. Just go to West Tampa Dance Studios, right out there at Columbus in Armenia, I believe. And it's right there. It's right next to like a nice little mechanic shop. And then talk to Manny Mantos, Michelle Perez, or all the staff there, and they'll get you whatever you want to. West Tampa Dance Shop. They sponsor us with a studio facility, when we're not doing the COVID-19 thing. And They let us use their facility for a nice little studio, and I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for letting us do that. West Tampa Dance Studio. Check them out. And everything you need to know is right there. Just go to westtampadancstudio.com and you'll find them. Just look them up on Google. So, West Tampa Dance Studio. I think that's right. All right. Well, we've got that taken care of. Belly is on the line with Zoom, and Rick Danford is on the line. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
Good. It's been a while. Rick Danford is a actor, producer, writer. He stars in a lot of his own films. He's done a lot of work with Joel Wynkoop, the Joel D. Wynkoop. He'll probably get mad if I don't say it correctly. So, because sometimes he does act like sort of a diva, but that's cool. That's the way he is. I like that. But I've met him a handful of times, and always a nice guy, always a nice guy to talk to work with. He knows a lot about production, filming. He has an eye for it. So Mr. Rick Danford is on the phone right here on Zoom on Gut Check with Belly Live. Now, mind you, Rick, Belly is sort of new to the hosting game of these shows, so we have to sort of break him in.
Be gentle.
So first of all, how are you doing, my friend, with all this going on?
Doing about as well as we can. I mean, trying to keep quarantined as much as possible, wearing masks when I go out and about, and just trying to abide by all the CDC rules and stuff as best I can. But every day is a new day.
Now, is the filming industry hurting with you a lot more with all this stuff going on?
It really is. It's pretty much shut down pretty much completely across the board. They are doing some stuff where they're starting to open up, but there's a lot of rules and regs and stuff that have to be gone through. And a lot of people just don't feel comfortable going out there and gathering on sets with people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why I've shifted gears and created this horror radio show that I'm working on now, because it enables me to still create content, still be creative, yet also abide by all the social distancing rules that I have to.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of the norm now, because once this thing started really, picking up steam, everybody in the entertainment industry just sort of like went dark. Like you couldn't even go, every production, you couldn't even see a production set going on with this whole thing going on.
Yeah, I mean, they're slowly but surely, you're hearing news about people returning to sets in Hollywood. But I mean, at the end of the day, all the movie theaters are shut down. They're not going to open up until probably August. So, I mean, there's no real hurry to get stuff done.
And you've produced how many movies so far?
Probably about 15, mostly shorts. But I've done that one feature film, The Web of Darkness, that starred Tom Savini and Brink Stevens. And working on a couple other things right now that hopefully are going to really pop, and I'm very excited about them.
That's good. And sorry, go ahead, Billy.
Rick, from start to finish, how long does it normally take you to do one of your films?
A short film? It really all depends. It's hard to really answer that question. The last couple of films I've done part of what they call a challenge films. There's a film festival and convention in Tampa called Necronomicon. And they do a little short film festival, and what they do, it's a competition. You pay like $75 to join it, form a team, and then you have to go out for their event, pick a genre, and pick a creature out of this bucket. And once you do that, you've got 8 days from that moment to write a script, cast it, shoot it, and turn in a completed short film up to 8 minutes long. I mean, all the way with music and everything. So that's a 2-week thing, and that's really quick, but we've done really well. The last one won like 5 out of the 7 awards, and we're really happy with it.
Excellent.
Do you get any money out of this, or do you charge people to do this, or what? How does that work?
Well, for the films itself, it depends. Right now, I'm just basically short films are different. It's hard to really make money off of short films. What short films basically are in the film business, I call them digital calling cards.
Okay.
You put them out on YouTube. You put them out on these different places where you can see them, like on Amazon and a couple of the other streaming services. And the bottom line is you want to get eyes on it, because you never know who's going to see your film and click with whatever it is that you've put out there, and maybe like your directing style, or maybe like your story or your special effects or whatever. And that might turn into an opportunity to really do something special.
And that's really, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So Rick, you said you do a lot of short films. Of all the short films that you've done throughout your whole life, or once you became a professional, which one of those short films would you like or would have liked to have done, like in a long feature type film?
Well, actually, the one of them that we just did a little while ago called Mirror Mirror, A Tale of Blood. We
Okay.
did that one. That was one of the first ones we did for that competition I explained to you before, and we did really well. A lot of awards with that one. Very excited. It's about Bloody Mary. That one was actually when I came up with the idea. Initially, I thought, man, I've got to make this a feature film. But obviously, I couldn't do this at the time because we had to do it for that competition. So I looked at it basically as like a proof of concept. So we put the story together, filmed it, put it out there. It did really well. It actually got picked up by Troma. So Troma's got it on their streaming service right now. But ultimately, I want to turn that into a feature film. I think that's got feature film written all over it.
Excellent. Like when you go into the process of wanting to turn it into a feature film, do you have like certain people possibly in mind for certain roles, or is it one of those things that you just got to do auditions to see who's right for the part, or how does that process work for you?
Well, for this particular film, it probably almost like is cheating because we already did the short part of it. So I was able to work with some incredible actors and actresses. I worked with Lisa Yambo, Bernie Rodriguez. My main star was Diana Durango. Diana Durango is probably one of the greatest actresses I've ever worked with, and I would put her in every movie if people would let me. So I would definitely look at her for one of the roles for a short, probably to redo the same role that she did in the short film. But ultimately, it depends on who produces it. If it's something that I'm doing myself and I have that say, then of course I can put out my casting calls and pick who I want depending on what I have. But if it's something that gets picked up by a studio and I'm looking at a studio there, they do a whole different casting process, and we're talking about a whole different group of people. So it all depends on really who produces it.
Gotcha. Understood.
Sorry, I thought you had more questions.
No,
I was letting you go on. So I've worked with you a couple of times. I've worked with you with Joel Wynkoop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've always
working in film.
Yeah, and I've always asked this of a lot of different people that have worked with him before, that I've had him on different shows, right? So my question to you, right out of the bat, right out of the gate, I want your first reaction. What is it like working with Joel Wynkoop?
He's a headache.
So's Bull. Don't worry about it.
I love Joel to death. I tell him that every time I see him. I call him the hardest working man in independent film. He treats people so well. He's just a joy to be around. I mean, I love being on set with the guy. He's got so much built up energy and creativity. It's insane. I love working with him. Every time I try to put something together, like my Dawn of the Dead project, I try to think about a different role of how can I somehow get Joel in here and be able to allow him to be Joel, because he is something else. He's just a ball of energy. I love working with the guy.
Yeah, he's a guy with many voices, many faces, many actors, many characters. He could play almost anything. But besides that, I mean, I've seen a lot of your films. I've seen a lot of what you've done. I've listened to your brand new YouTube horror podcast, right? And I gotta say, it is phenomenal the way you've done these characters and the way you've placed them and edited them to where it seems like one of those old, like 1970s type of radio show.
Absolutely, that's
like
what
an
I
Orson, like an Orson Welles type of thing.
Exactly. I grew up on that stuff. When I was really young, I used to listen. They used to have this thing called the CBS Radio Mystery Theater.
Yeah,
so I used to listen to it every Friday night while I was going to sleep. And they had some creepy stuff on there, and they had all kinds of stuff. But I loved the whole radio show idea because it basically, you have to create with your voices and put those images into people's minds because you don't have video. So you have to be able to write the dialogue and create the sound effects and stuff and the music to be able to get people to visualize what's happening. And Tom Savini, he told me very early on when I worked with him, he said, you'll scare people more with what they can't see than anything you'll be able to create for them to see. And I believe that.
And that is very true, because going back in the day with War of the Worlds, when that was going on, that guy had I can't remember who hosted that show. But what was it? Or was it Orson Welles?
Orson Welles.
Okay, so yeah, when he hosted that show and did that, everybody was off the Richter scale with that. Everybody thought it was so real that these aliens were coming down, and he painted, and he did it so well that he didn't do it like kind of like what you're doing. He did it in between breaks. A lot of people didn't know that. When the commercials came on, he would do these news reports of where he would do like a very like 2-minute news report. Then he'd go like the 4-minute news report. And then later on, it was more like a half-hour news report to where everybody was listening to a radio back then was like freaking out that these aliens were, I think he shut down like 4 or 5 stations too.
Yeah, people were panicking. People thought it was an actual alien invasion. He did an amazing job and pulled the wool over everybody's eyes.
So, and that's cool that you're gearing this new YouTube show to that. I have a little snippet up here with your intro. This is No Sleep Tonight horror radio show.
This will all be over soon.
Oh, God. No.
You know what it sounds like? Sort of sounds like one of those what is it, Halloween Horror Nights or Hollow Scream type music.
Yeah.
Oh, like right before you get into the house
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
what it reminds me of. It's like, oh my God, they're building up for something very horrific.
And now, you die.
Girls gotta eat.
Look at the blood.
You can't be real. No.
Now, did you have like a script sent off to these people to do that, or was that just sort of in house?
That's our intro. That's for each episode. And basically what I did was I just picked a couple of different actors and actresses, and I just sent them a little verbiage. I said, hey, I want you to say this, and this is what I want you to sound like. And then I got the music from a guy who's a composer, a guy named Mark D'Erico. And I went ahead and just put those snippets and stuff in there. And then, of course, it ends. That's actually my daughter at the end saying the title, No Sleep Tonight.
Nice.
So that's kind of the intro.
There's nowhere to run.
That was her right there.
That was her right there.
Wow,
That was creepy, man.
That was
If I was
creepy.
like listening to that in a dark room, I'd be creeped out by that.
It's
Good job.
No Sleep
Thank you.
Tonight radioshow.com. You can check him out. The brand new show he's got. I think you work on your 4th episode, aren't you?
I'm writing the 4th one. I'm right now editing and putting the sound effects and stuff in for episode 2 and 3. So I should be able to upload episode 2 in the coming weeks and then episode 3 right after.
Okay. Now, just for people who don't know, like, you know, when I started doing this channel, I was doing sort of like, when I was at the BRN, I would, you know, have everything would be set up for me. You know what I mean? Like you'd go in the studio and everything would be ready to go. But with here, I'm having to build everything up from like the ground up, basically. So my question to you is, how long does it usually take to do like a podcast of this caliber and this quality?
Well, that was the thing. There's another guy who does a great podcast. His name is Carl Bernardo, and he does a podcast called Of Mike and Men. And he invited me to play a role in a horror script that he did for the Jersey Devil.
Okay.
So I did that, and he was able to put it out so quickly, and it sounded so cool. I'm thinking like, man, I got to try this because I used to love horror radio. So I decided I'm going to do my own episode and do everything myself. So I wrote the script, I casted it. I sent out the scripts to the different actors and actresses. I had them record their lines at home on their phone or on the computer, send me the recordings. I created my own special effect or my own sound effects. I went out into my car at 2:00 in the morning, turning on the engine and opening and closing the doors and all that stuff to create all my own sound effects, added the music to it, edited the whole thing, and got it out there. So I did basically everything, including playing a part. And it was so much fun because I didn't have to wait on anybody else. I didn't have to rely on anybody else. I did everything myself.
Right.
I think I got the whole thing done over the course of maybe 2.5 weeks.
Wow. And that's quick too. That is really quick.
Absolutely.
Do people think you're nuts when you're out there in your car and you're just, you know, doing your own sound effects and everything?
I think my neighborhood's kind of got used to me by now. My neighbors and stuff know what I do. So when they see me, they just kind of shake their head and walk away. They know what's going on.
I did that one time.
It's kind of like me disinfecting my groceries due to COVID-19 when I'm outside.
You should see some of the stuff that he has to do. Like, he actually made this entire plastic bubble that when he went to the grocery store, right, that he would get into and have like a 6-foot barrier around him so that nobody could touch him.
That's right. I had like that old school Inspector Gadget hat, go Gadget helicopter to get out of there.
I know one time I was we're talking about to Rick Danford on the phone right now. He is the creator of No Sleep Tonight, the brand new podcast for YouTube.com. He's been in hundreds of different movies. He directed them. He written them. He produced them. But also, what I was saying was that I did that one time, and I had the cops called one time in the fire department out here to my bunker because I was testing a fog machine. And in the neighborhood, there's a bunch of Spanish people that live around here, right? So as they're seeing the fog rolling out of the garage, they thought my house is on fire. So I had to explain to them what's going on. I mean, it sounded more funnier in my head, but it's all right.
I would have thought you were smoking some doobies in the garage.
That'd have been a little bit better sounding, I think. Just hanging out on the couch and just chilling out like the '70s show.
There you go. Now, Rick, when you're going through the creative process, you said you do most of this by yourself. Once you share it with the world and you get the feedback and people are really enjoy it, how does that make you feel knowing that this brainchild of yours you brought to life all by yourself, and it's something that people are really into and really are enjoying? And like we have in the chat, one of the listeners, Simon, said he was listening to this in a dark room, that your intro, and it was creepy. So when you get feedback like that, how does that make you feel knowing that this all came from you, your brainchild?
Oh, it makes me feel great. It really does. I was telling friends of mine the other day, even after I've made all these different films, and a lot of my films that I've made, pretty much for the most part, I've written all of them. Still to this day, even after making all these films and working with all these actors and actresses, it still gives me a chill whenever I'm sitting there watching somebody recite lines that I wrote, that I came up with, or saying a line and having people laugh because I picked up that joke and I thought oh my God, is somebody going to get that? And then hearing them say the line and seeing people react to it, it's validation. It really makes you feel good. That'll never get old.
Excellent. Now, when you're directing these actors, do you have in your mind how it should play out, or do you let the actors kind of take the lines and take the scene and go as they may, or do you have a way more hands-on approach with it to where it's it needs to be done this way, this is the vision that I have in my head, or is it a collaboration of I think it's going to be better this way versus they think it's going to be better another way? How does that work with you?
It's really a little bit of both. It depends on the actor, the actress, but for the most part, any director has a vision in their head of how they see the scene playing out. It's almost like they've got it, seeing it as a movie in their head. They work with the cinematographer, looking at the different angles they want and how they want a certain scene to look because they've already got it all laid out in their head. So I pretty much have a good, idea of how I want it to look, what I want people's reactions to be, how I want them to say their lines and everything. And I try the best I can to work with those actors and actresses to make sure they understand what I'm looking for and work with them to make sure that they understand how I want them to go ahead and portray these characters on screen. But as an independent filmmaker, it's not like Hollywood. In Hollywood, you've got a director, and for the most part, he's able to just sit there and work with the actors and actresses. He's got first ADs, cinematographers, everybody else running around taking care of every other aspect. As an independent filmmaker, I'm wearing many hats, from directing to producing to going to pick up the pizza, everything. That's just the way independent film is.
Now, do you have any kind of advice for, let's say if there's someone that's, wanting to write a screenplay and getting into this, what's the top 3 things that they should consider when pursuing a career in filmmaking?
Well, if they want to do it as a writer, I would definitely recommend going out and getting some books. There's some great books out there on screenwriting that help you with the process and how to imagine the characters and put the stories together and stuff. So I would definitely recommend going out and getting books. You can also use YouTube. There's a lot of classes and courses and stuff out there. If they want to be a filmmaker, I would definitely recommend go and get on a set. There's so many different groups and stuff on Facebook that you can join, filmmaking groups, actors groups and stuff, and put yourself out there. They'll be putting out casting calls, crew calls. Go out there, be a PA, hold cable, hold the wires, whatever. Go out there and help with holding the boom pole. Anything you can do to get on set, because not only will you get to sit there and witness how the process is done, you'll get to ask questions, you'll get to network with cast and crew to be able to try and help you with your own film. It's just, Robert Rodriguez, who is another inspiration of mine, he said that for anybody thinking about going to film school, he recommends taking that money you would have spent on film school and making your own film, because you'll learn more on set than you'll ever learn in a classroom.
And I agree with that, too. I've been on quite a few sets in my day. When Punisher came here to film, I was there on most of the sets, watching, talking to the ADs, talking to the directors, and he is true. What Rick says is actually true, in that you can go to all the film schools that you want to, but like certain things that you'll learn, like Apple boxes and Apple crates and, you know, lenses and how to hook up things, you know, you don't learn in the classroom. You know, you learn it right there in the field. And some of the older guys will even teach you how to do it their way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you'll get to work with those people. You get not only that, but at the end of the day, you get credit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you're trying to build. You're trying to build up your portfolio. And that way people can see what your work is, see what you're doing, and then eventually you'll get picked up for bigger and bigger projects.
Absolutely.
Now, have you ever, and I've asked a couple people this as well, doing the many years you've been doing, you know, producing, directing, editing, all that stuff that goes into making these films, have you ever dreamed of like sort of envisioned yourself at this particular age being in Hollywood or, you know, working for, you know, Universal or Disney or, you know, any of those big major producers?
I've dreamed that all my life. When I was youngest, I think I really wanted to get into acting, and then I got it. Then I watched a movie called Hooper from Burt Reynolds, and I wanted to be a stuntman. And then I ended up wanting to get into directing because I love the idea of being able to get my vision across on film. I even directed a little silent film with my dad's 8mm camera in my front yard when I was like 8 or 9 years old, you know, for my actual first film. I wish my mom would have kept the video, but that was my very first thing. I mean, so I've wanted to make movies my entire life. And even if I never make it into Hollywood or anything like that, I'm very proud of what we've done, the people I've met with, the actors and actresses I've gotten to work with, and the stories that I've brought to life. Because at the end of the day, film is forever. Long after I'm gone, my stuff will still be available on YouTube. You can still find my stuff online, and you'll still see my movies.
And see, that's how you market it right there. And that's what I like about you, Rick, especially like with Joel as well, is that you guys have the passion for doing this, you know, and, you know, whether it's big, whether it's small, whether, you know, it's a very small line or a very big line, you know, that's what I think the movie industry is missing, you know, today, is passion for it. Everybody's worried about making money, but you still have to have the passion for it. You still have to get things right. And that's what I like about you. You achieve that passion in everything that you film and everything that you produce.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. It's in my blood. I mean, I dream movies. I sleep movies. I you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's just in my blood. That's what I will do until the day I die.
And I can relate to that because a lot of the stuff that I look through is I'm looking through a lens, like a camera lens, you know, because I've been doing this since 2000, you know, producing and, you know, doing movies and stuff like that. And then recently just getting into the drone work, you know, which I don't know if you've seen some of the videos that I've been coming out with the drones.
Yes, I do.
But you know, it's a very unique eye that you have to do with that, because even planning with that shot, I'm sitting here probably about an hour, 30 minutes trying to figure out what's the best location, how are we going to shoot this, and then on top of that, I want to make it offerable to, like with you, if you want to do, you know, drone shots or whatever the case may be, or if any other independent filmmaker wants to use the drone or rent out the drone or whatever, then that's available as well. Because in independent film, as you know, Rick, you know, it's like a dog eat dog world. You know what I mean? Like it's everything is like to the penny. So if you've got to buy like one small piece of gaff tape or one roll of gaff tape, that's like $35. So you have to improvise. You know, duct tape would probably work better than gaff tape. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, is we don't have those Hollywood budgets.
Yeah.
A lot of our budgets are our own money or money from family, from friends, family, whatever. So we have to make every penny count.
And that's why I'm offering the drone, like for you and stuff like that, is because I know how it is in independent film, you know, because I do it myself. And, you know, like I said, I think this will be a step above with a lot of independent filmmakers to utilize this type of aerial, you know, photography. And I know you said you worked with it before. How was your experience before with a drone?
We used the drone on one film that we just did that was kind of cut off because of COVID. And we were out at a building, a high rise in downtown Tampa.
Okay.
And we had the drone. We had a guy in the office building looking out the window. So we had the drone actually above the building, kind of turn, watching the sunset, turn to him and push into the building. from that, like the 23rd or 24th floor or whatever. So
Nice.
it was really beautiful. I mean, if you do it right, it just adds so much
Yeah.
production value to any movie.
That's good. Have you ever made a film that you just looked back and said, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that"?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What was
That's
your
part of the learning
worst?
process. Well, the very first film I made was a movie called The Web of Darkness, and we decided to make a feature film, which is one of the worst things that you could ever do starting out. You always want to try and cut your teeth on the short films and make your mistakes smaller rather than bigger. But we didn't know anything back then, so we ended up hiring this company to help us, and they were supposed to take care of everything behind the camera, and we were supposed to just work with the actors to get our vision across. Well, from day one, that didn't work. That company, we ended up having to learn how to make sound. We had a videographer, a cinematographer who was basically a photographer. So he spent the entire time trying to eliminate shadows. We didn't know any better, knowing that you're supposed to utilize shadows. So we kind of learned. That was basically film school in a bucket.
Right.
That first movie. So even though it didn't come out nowhere near as much as well as I wanted it to, we learned so much on that set. Went through so much. It was invaluable experience.
And that's so cool because you do learn from a lot of different, vantage points and filming points and stuff like that, and you learn from your experience. Now I'm looking through your IMDb page, and despite you coming out with this new podcast on YouTube, you're looking at in pre-production Red Elvises. Tell me about that. Tell me about Red Elvises.
Red Elvises is a band that I came in contact to a couple years ago. They're based out of California, and they come here once or twice a year. They always play over at I forget the name of the place now, but over in Tampa. And so I go to see them over there, and they're an outlandish band. It's basically the lead singer is this big Russian named Igor.
Igor?
And they always dress Igor. Yeah, he's got the heavy Russian accent, big tall guy. They're funny. Their songs are really crazy, but the good music, but they've got such a cult following. But what I loved about them is that they're basically a movie themselves, just watching these people. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool to make like a little short film, kind of like This Is Spinal Tap, introducing people to the Red Elvises and playing their music and having them act in this movie. And then we can put this together on a DVD and put some of their songs on it. We can sell it at their shows. We can put it out and send it to film festivals. And basically it's a way for us to have a really cool, fun film that we have out there, but also a good calling card for them and have exposed them in a whole different arena.
That's awesome. And it's really unique that you're doing that because I've never seen Red Elvises with a Russian type of, accent as a lead singer.
Oh my God, you got to see them. I can't.
Red
I can't express
Elvises?
that. They are awesome.
That's what they're called, Red Elvises, right?
Red Elvises.
Wow, I've never seen that. That's impressive.
You'll love them, I promise you. And once you go, that's the thing is every time I go, you see a lot of the same people there. There's like a cult following. These people, they're there all the time, every single show, every time they're down here. So they're very, very popular. And they're well worth the time.
I've got their latest video pulled up here, and I'll play it here in a second. It's
and
Boogie
trust
on the
me,
Beach.
their videos and stuff, and listening to them on CD, that doesn't do it justice from seeing them live.
Oh, really? Okay, all right.
They're a live experience.
That wild, huh?
They are. They play at
crazy.
Skippers in Tampa. You ever been to Skippers?
I've heard of it. I've never been to it though.
Yeah, great little venue. Great guy over there that runs that place, and it's just a fun venue. But unfortunately, like I said, when we went to start filming this thing, that's when COVID had hit. Nobody wanted to go out there. The actors and actresses were scared to go out there, so we just got a little bit of B-roll, and we're kind of waiting for this to kind of all blow over so we can eventually get this done.
Are you sort of upset with the COVID thing? I mean, are you going with it? Or are you just sort of like, what is your mindset with all this stuff that's coming out?
I mean, I'm not upset at it. You can't really be upset at it. It is what it is. I think the only thing that I get frustrated with sometimes is just all the fake news out there. You don't really know what's happening because people have agendas they're pushing and stuff like that. So you're not quite sure what's happening. I wish people would take it a little bit more seriously. I have a friend of mine, a close friend of mine who's a filmmaker who lost his mother because of COVID-19. So it's real, people. It really is. And it's not. And I think what gets me the most is that people think, oh, well, it's the flu. If I get it, I'll be sick for a few days and I'll be fine. It's not about that. Maybe your immune system is good. Maybe you will beat it and it won't affect you at all. But what about the people you pass it on to? What if you pass it on to somebody who can't fight it like you do, whose immune system isn't as strong as you are? That's what I think people need to realize that a lot of people aren't.
A lot of people are thinking about the me and not the we. We need to start think about the we right now.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about, is you don't want to pass it on to somebody who won't be able to fight it off like you do. You don't want to be responsible for that.
Right. We do have a listener question for you here, Rick. Simon said, if someone had a book they thought someday may be a viable film project, would you recommend shopping it out as a book first or as a script?
It's kind of hard and tricky when you're talking about shopping it out as a book, because obviously if it's a book they've written, that's one thing. But if it's a book somebody else has written that you think would be a good script, you have to look at getting the rights to be able to pitch that book. I would probably put together like some kind of a small synopsis or a breakdown or a treatment or something of what it would be like in a film capacity, and then shop that around. And then, of course, with the understanding that you're going to have to make this deal with the writer, because that's where the tricky part comes in. If it's somebody else that wrote it, you have to be able to obtain those rights.
Right. Understood.
And how much? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Bull.
No,
go ahead, Bull.
I was just sort of curious of like, how much are rights going these days? Is it per particular project or?
It's really per writer. I mean,
Okay.
it depends. If you get somebody like Stephen King or somebody like that, a major writer, those rights are going to go through the roof. Even though Stephen King does something cool where I've heard that he works with independent filmmakers, and for some of his short stories, he's
Right.
basically allowed them to have the film rights for almost nothing because he supports all that. That's wonderful. But
That's
a lot
cool,
of other
yeah.
writers, whatever, big name writers, you're going to pay through the nose just for the rights to do that. Or if you get some independent writers, there's some great independent writers you might be able to get the rights for. Like there's one guy that's I've been friends with for many years. His name is Jeff Strand,
Mhm.
and he's an incredible writer and pumps out books left and right. And he makes deals with independent filmmakers. Several of his books and short stories have been turned into films already. So people like that, you might be able to get a better deal for. But it really all depends on the writer and the material.
So yeah, it's politics and money game. That's what it is. That's what it
It's
sounds
for
like to me.
everything.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's,
Exactly.
you can't just go out there and make a film without somebody. Like I heard a story. What was it? Something about a person had a tattoo on or something like that, and they got upset because that was their tattoo, and they wanted payment for that tattoo that was shown on screen.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works, but I know
Yeah.
that showing it
Well-
on screen or something, you have to get a release for that.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going with, because when I did a commercial for Busch Gardens one time, and they had to put makeup, on my tattoos, and they actually the guy who was doing it was the guy who made the Raleigh Khan. You know who that is?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he was the guy who made all the masks for Slipknot.
Oh,
For like 10 years, he made all the masks for Slipknot. And he actually spent about an hour and a half doing my makeup for the shoot. And he told me that he has to take up, because of the way Hollywood is and across the board, is that you have to remove all tattoos, because that's what happens, that people will sit there and see their tattoo work on camera, and then they'll sit there and say, I want the rights for this, I want the rights for that, and you owe me money for this.
oh yeah. If
So-
anybody can find that angle, they'll find it.
But yeah, he was a good guy, though. He was really down to earth and really cool, really sort of like that Metallica type look, with the long hair and stuff like that. I mean, really, really rugged, rocking type of guy.
Awesome.
So, but Rick Danford, I thank you so much for being on the show. I'm sorry,
Pleasure.
I'm sorry we're a little bit late for getting you on. It's been, with being in the bunker with COVID-19, the hamsters sort of have to get working on the wheel. So we have to
Yep.
spin the generators going up and stuff like that. But thank you so much. How do you think of the show so far, the channel and the show?
I love the show. I mean, I loved it when I went over there that time with the Dawn of the Dead girls and everything. We had a great time. You do a
Yeah, I
great
remember
job.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I mean, you do a great job, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Well, thank you, my friend. And anytime you want to
thanks
come
for
on the
being
show,
Thank you.
you can always come on board. No questions asked, or shoot me a text. Say, hey, look, Bull, dumbass, I want to get on the show. And you're just like Joel. You're an honorary guest on this show. So
And I'll never say no to Dawn of the Dead Girls.
There you go. All right, guys. Thank you again. You guys do a great job. Take care.
Thank you so much,
Stay
Rick.
Thank you, sir.
Rick Danford. Check him out. Go to youtube.com. Look at his brand new series, No Sleep Tonight Radio Show.com. Go to his Twitter account. You can check him out at if I'm going to say it correctly, at ENIG Merrick, correct?
Enigma Rick.
Enigma Rick.
Enigma Rick. All right. Rick Danford, just look him up on Twitter. All the social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. He's all over the stuff, puts all over the stuff. Rick Danford, thank you so much. I cannot appreciate you more being on the show and spending your time on a Wednesday night with us. I thank you so much, my friend.
All right. Thank you, guys. Stay
right, thank
safe.
All right, thank you so
You too.
much. All right, so I think we're good with that. Let me make sure real quick. Just give me 1 second. What'd you think of Rick Danford?
Interesting stuff, man. I'm into that horror radio, so that's something I'm definitely gonna be checking out.
I am too.
You know what I like about him
What's that?
and hearing him speak. It's his ideas are original. It's coming from him. It's
Yeah.
like Hollywood and stuff now. Everything's like remakes, and they recreate the wheel. He's coming up with original stories out of his own mind. He's taking it from start to finish, and that's something that's missing. Especially in the horror genre, everything's like recycled stuff now. So if he has something that's original and then he's able to put it on film and it's a new original idea, that's something I could definitely get behind.
And that's what the industry needs is more simplistic ideas.
But like you were saying, it's all about the money. So they're like,
Yeah.
oh, zombies. We're
how
just
can we
going
spin
to
zombies again?
Yeah, another zombie movie, or they're going to remake. I love Friday the 13th, but they'll remake that for the 800th time, or they'll make the 800th film of it, or whatever it is. But good, solid, original horror ideas.
Yeah.
It's few and far between now, and I'm actually seeing a lot of it in the short films because these people are taking their original ideas and they're making their own films. So kudos to them for actually doing that.
Well, and there was a show that sort of stood out. I went to I think it was a premiere or a contest or something like that for Joel, right? And I think Rick Danford stuff was in there as well. And it used to be over there where that picture show used to be on North Dome. I don't know if you've ever been up there or not.
Tampa Picture Show?
Yeah, Tampa Picture Show, right?
Yeah,
The food wasn't that great, but the filming was the videos were fantastic. But I saw this one that was a sitcom, right? And basically, I think the mom was like a zombie, but they were acting like it was a sitcom type of show. Does that make sense? And everything was like, the laugh track and all that stuff. Like Joe would walk in and it'd be like a laugh track, and the husband would walk in and it'd be a laugh track and our applause or whatever. But real sort of campy, like what's the like the old 90s, sort of sitcom shows.
Like, it's in a studio and they hit a button when a joke.
Family Matters or what's the other one with he's now a comedian now.
There's so many of them.
Yeah, I can't remember what they are.
Full
House, all those
all
stuff.
that TGIF stuff.
It was just like that, but I think the mom was like a zombie. And it was really cool, really well done, and really, I looked almost like a regular show.
Yeah, see, that's an idea I could possibly, I'd watch it just because it's a different idea and it might get me hooked. So it's those original ideas. You're going to take, a housewife mom and make her into a zombie, but you're going to make it in a campy 90s TV sitcom comedy style. It's different.
It is different, and that's what makes it unique, like you said before. With all this stuff going on, these guys come up with some great ideas and great, push points to do this stuff. The problem is that just people just want to, they want to make the money, and that's
all. Yep.
And that's where the passion comes in. But I'm glad Rick, likes the show. I'm glad Rick, enjoys being on the show, especially all the technical issues that we have all the time, which I'm figuring out. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm trying to get this up and operational. Just,
I get it, dude.
You guys got to bear with me because I seen someone on the post. It's like, oh, we're going to start right on 9:30. Well, we're trying. All right. So just don't lose hope. The show will still go on no matter what.
Have faith.
Have faith in yourself. But listen, when I got most of the projects done, the next big project here in a couple months is going to be actually building my own studio, right? So that way I can have everything set up, I can have everything ready to go. So that way I'm not tearing things down and ruining the board and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just walk my fat ass in, plug in, and hit the power button. Let's get to work.
Just like it used to be. But then again, because I'm running off of battery power because we had the problem issue with the power cord still. So it's all in the works. It's all going to get changed. Don't worry about it. But nevertheless, thank you, Rick Danford, for coming on as well. Always a pleasure having you on. So we got a lot of different stories to talk about tonight. And yes, to answer the question, the phone lines are open. I have to go through different ones, to go through different ones to get to the phone line. So if I don't get to your phone or your call, just be patient and I will hopefully get to it.
Or just
soon.
call back, motherfuckers.
Just call back, motherfuckers. Come on, we're trying
Jesus.
here. So here's my thought. Do you want to go for about another 5 minutes or so, or do you want to take a small little break?
Let's take a small little break.
Kind of recap.
Yeah, do a little recap, and then we'll try to get into the stories that we have here.
And then I'll have your stories pulled up here, momentarily. You know what I mean?
Sounds good.
Let's see what I can do with here. 'Cause I'm trying to.
Also, do want to mention we do have a new Twitter for Gut Check with Belly Live.
Do you really?
All you gotta
let's
do-
hold on. Let's tease that in a minute, okay?
Oh, we'll tease it.
We'll tease it when on the backside.
Okay.
When we come back
I like
from the
teasing
break.
the backside.
You
Let's
like
do it.
teasing on the backside?
Yeah.
All right. So
Licky,
here we
licky.
go. You want me outro this?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Belly is live with Off the Cuff. This is the show that you're listening to. Thank you so much. Thank you
It's
for
Gut Check Live with Belly, not Off the Cuff.
God damn it. Why am I saying that?
All right, I'll take us out.
Okay,
Gut
let's-
Check Live with Belly. We'll be right back. We got some stories. We're going to talk about coronavirus, Bull's favorite thing in the world. We're going to be talking about Trump and his 4th of July bullshit. And we're going to be talking about Trump not...
More Trump.
doing it- Russia. More Trump.
More
Trump, and Trump.
Trump, and more Trump. Thank you so much. Gut Check with Belly. YouTube.com. Just search Bull's Radio Lounge. Thank you for all the listeners who are listening so far. We still got another 45 minutes to an hour left of phenomenal programming. Don't go away. We'll be back in a minute with your host, Belly. He will take the reins with the stories, and we'll go through them one by one, discussing all your opinions, your topics. Don't go
Call
away.
me and argue with me, damn it.
Yes,
call me
call
and
the
argue
phone,
with me.
813-419-3602. We'll get to them real quick. Be back in a minute. Gut Check with Belly live. Stand by.
Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. How, 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 how. How, 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 how. Hey, hey. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk. I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk and talk that talk. You knocks me out off my feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang.
Boom, 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 boom. Gonna shoot you right down off of your feet. How, how, how. Listen to the fat bass. I want you to stop and listen. listen to the fat bass. It'll show you you're alive. And listen to this fat bass that will send the blood coursing through your veins.
Torture you, take my hand through the flame. I torture you, I'm a slave to your games. I wanna chain you up, I wanna tie you down. I'm just a sucker for pain. I'm a sucker for pain. I got the squad tatted on me from my neck to my ankles. The pressure from the man got us all in rebellion. We gon' go to war, yeah, without failure. Do it for the fam, dog. 10 toes down, dog. Love and the loyalty, that's what we stand for. Alienated by society. All this pressure give me anxiety. Walk slow through the fire. Like who gon' try us? Feeling the world go against us, so we put the world on our shoulders. I torture you, take my hand through the flame. I torture you, I'm a slave to your games. I wanna chain you up, I wanna tie you down. I'm just a sucker for pain.
I've been at it with my homies homies, it don't matter, you don't know me. I've been rolling with my team, we the illest on the scene. I've been riding around the city with my squad. I've been riding around the city with my squad. We just posted getting crazy, living like this is so amazing. Hold up, take a step back when we roll up, cause I know what. We've been loyal, we've been fan, we the ones you're trusting. Won't hesitate to go straight to your head like a concussion. I know I've been busting, no discussion for my family. No hesitation through my scope, I see my enemy like, what's up? Hold up, we finna reload up. Yes, I reload up, I know what up, I know what up.
I torture you, take my hand through the flame. I torture you, I'm a slave to your games. I wanna chain you up, I wanna tie you down. I'm just a sucker for pain.
Devoted to destruction, a full dosage of detrimental dysfunction. I'm dying slow, but the devil trying to rush me. See, I'm a fool for pain. I'm a dummy, might cut my head off right after I slit my throat. Tongue kiss a shark, got jealous bitches up in the boat, eating peanut butter and jellyfishes on toast. And if I get stung, I get stoked, might choke like I chewed a chunk of charcoal. Naked in the North Pole, that's why my heart cold, full of sorrow. A lost soul, and only Lord knows when I'm coming to the crossroads. So I don't fear shit but tomorrow. And I'm a sucker for pain, it ain't nothing but pain. You just fucking complain, you ain't tough as you claim. Just stay up in your lane, just don't fuck with Lil Wayne. I'ma jump from my plane or stand in front of a train, cause I'm a sucker for pain.
Used to doing bad, now we feel like we just now getting in. Ain't got no other way, so we started and finished it. No pain, no gain. Never stand down, made our own way. Never going slow, we pick up the pace. This is what we wanted from a young age. No emotion, that's what business is. Lord have mercy on the witnesses. Take my hand through the flame. I torture you. I'm just a sucker for pain. More pain got me begging, 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 begging. For more pain got me begging, 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 begging. For more pain got me begging, 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 begging. For more
I need a gangster to love me better than all the others do. To always forgive me, ride or die with me. That's just what gangsters do.
Face to face, go.
I'm fucked up, I'm black and blue. I'm built for all the abuse. I got secrets that no.
Bulls Radio Lounge. Off. Just gotta check with Belly Live. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. This is sort of
This is from Vladimir.
This is for who?
From Vladimir Putin,
Ah.
controlling his puppet Donald Trump.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, man. It's one of our stories that we're gonna
So
get into.
I was gonna do a nice little promo for a wine company that's here in Thenona Sassa.
Yeah, you don't want to do that over the Russian
I
national
don't
anthem.
want to. Yeah. It's like, man, should I? Should I not? Should I? Because I had it all in my head. So this is one of the songs you picked out in your prep.
Yes, to go for my prep. When I try to do the songs, I try to kind of do it to go with the topics that we're going to discuss. So that's where the idea of this came from.
I'll be honest with you, I just randomly pulled one up real quick.
Thanks, man.
No, it's cool. I got you.
No, it's all
So,
good.
thank you for joining the show. Gut Check with Belly Live. I'll talk about the winery place when we get a little bit later down the road.
Sure.
This one. So.
Is it the one that you shared the picture of? On
Yes, I
Facebook?
did. Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. That was a very good tasting.
Local to my parts.
What's that?
That's a local company to my parts.
Yeah, which I might have a deal to do some aerial footage for them.
Oh, cool.
So that's might be going down. All right, so you picked the song for the national anthem of the USSR. What was your deal with that?
Well, have you heard about the Russian government putting bounties on American soldiers, paying the Taliban?
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
And
then Trump knew about it and hasn't done anything about it at all.
Do you think he's doing something on the backside?
No, I don't.
No.
I mean, personally, no. I have no evidence to say for sure. No, of course not. But
I mean, why wouldn't you think these guys know about it already? And they're like, hey, we got this.
Well, first, I don't know if I sent a clip there.
Is this the blonde chick?
Yes, it should be the blonde.
I don't know what her name is.
Kayleigh McEnany. She's the press secretary for the White House.
The press secretary. Is
Yeah,
she
so
somebody
she's the
new
one-
or?
It's like the 800th one that they've had. I think they
Okay.
had Sean Spicer, then they had Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and then Anthony Scaramucci, I believe,
Now-
for a little bit. And they had a couple other people.
Now let me
once.
ask you this: what is it with? I mean, are these the people who sort of speak for the president without having the president come out there?
Right, they're the press secretary, so they field the questions from the reporters. It used to be a daily thing, and then because Trump and them kept getting heat all the time, getting caught in lies, they stopped doing it for a while. But McEnany, she does it on the regular way more than the other ones.
By the way, 813-419-3602 to call in number. I will try to monitor as best I can while trying to watch the stories that are playing ahead. But please call in 813-419-3602. All right, so we're watching the White House secretary. What is her name again?
Kayleigh McEnany.
Kelly who?
Kayleigh McEnany.
McEnany.
Yeah.
That's her name, McEnany?
Kayleigh McEnany.
Okay, here we go.
Thousands of reports a day on intelligence, and they are subject to strict scrutiny. While the White House does not routinely comment on alleged intelligence or internal deliberations, the CIA director, NSA, National Security Advisor, and the Chief of Staff can all confirm that neither the president nor the vice president were.
So is she answering a question at this point? Is that
Yes,
what this
they're
clip
asking
is?
why hasn't Trump even mentioned this or done anything about this?
Because I think I've seen this woman before on like CNN or something like that, right?
Yeah, she used to be like one of those people they interview, or they have kind of like debates.
Well, not that one. I've always seen her like doing what she's doing now, right? And I always see her like when they ask a question to her, they always like she pulls that tab over, like she has the answer ready to go.
Oh yeah, she has scripts ready to go.
So do they screen the questions from the press?
I think they know before they go in there what they're going to ask about. Like, because
how would you know though?
This story comes out like a source gives it to a newspaper, and then the newspaper, prints it and reports on it. So they have this big powwow meeting before she goes out there. Like, okay, if they ask about this, what we're going to say. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure game.
Yeah.
Go to page 6, go to page 10, or whatever.
So they may not even have like the correct answer for the correct question, right?
Yeah, they have the story that they want to tell, or the spin of the story that they want to tell for whatever question.
Were briefed on the alleged Russian bounty intelligence.
Has he been briefed since all of these reports came out?
So let me back up and say this, that there is no consensus within the intelligence community on these allegations, and in effect, there are dissenting opinions from some in the intelligence community with regards to the veracity.
Of course, wouldn't you think that you sort of have like an iPad there, and that way you can just like click on this and this instead of having I mean, aren't we at an age that we can get rid of paper?
You would think, but I mean, we have a
When you're
Stone
up
Age
there?
administration.
That's
So
true.
they're going to deal
well,
with
I wouldn't
Stone
even
Age
say about the
thinking.
administration. I'm just talking about the whole thing in general. Doesn't matter
Obviously,
who's in there.
administration.
No, I'm saying it doesn't matter who's in there. I mean, that's
Oh
all
yeah,
you see.
I mean, you think we would have like some sort of iPad where they? Can
well, why
put
couldn't they
this
just put an iPad in the podium, like one of those big old giant ones?
I don't know.
That'd be kind of cool, yeah.
It would be cool, but that's my your taxpayer money going to work. Just use your goddamn binder.
Of what's being reported, and the veracity of the underlying allegations continue to be evaluated.
Is he upset that this intelligence was reportedly shared with the British government, but not him?
I have no further comment on that.
President Trump tweeted.
Would you be pissed about that?
He knew about it. Because now the new thing is now he wants to find out who leaked it to the newspaper. So he knew about it.
So is he going to
And
scrutinize every single person in the staff now?
Well, he's going to try to find out who did it, and he's not going to find out who did it because he's been trying to find out who leaked stuff since he started his administration.
Yeah, but there's
And he
always
hasn't
been
found
leaks,
it.
though.
Yeah, every president has leaks. It's not again nothing against him. It's just this is something that the people should know about. So the avenue in which we find out stuff like this is the newspapers. It is the media, the fake media, or the evil media.
It
as
is
he
fake
puts it.
media because they're just using. I mean, literally. I mean, have you ever sort of known how TV works per se?
I mean, I have an idea. I don't know.
Okay, well,
I'm not in the business.
Just to give you a brief history of it, you have a teleprompter, right? And you have a person who's writing on the teleprompter. You know.
Right. Oh yeah.
Well, the scripts have to be approved by the producer and the executive
Of course.
producer, and then even edited down by the chief and all that jazz, right? So when they get these stories to put on the teleprompter, right? I mean, unless it's a very hot breaking story like right now, all this stuff is already pre-generated. They're just reading it on the thing. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
Like CNN and MSNBC will like fight over who's going to go left and who's going to go right or who's this and who's that. They don't even report, honestly about the news. So when you hear this stuff out here,
I mean, I won't agree with that fully. I believe the news is still our best source of having the truth
for like
You
what's
know,
going on right now. You know what I mean? Like breaking news or something like that. But for reporting on something that happens, 2 or 3 days ago, right? I mean, you have to be naive to sit there and think that, oh, the president doesn't know about it. He already knows about it.
Yeah.
And here they're already trying to find ways to get this whole situation solved.
Right. They're trying to spin it to where Trump didn't know about it and he hasn't done it. And he couldn't do anything if he didn't know about it. But now he's trying to find whoever leaked it. So he did know about it. He just got caught in a lie, and he got caught kissing Putin's ass again and not doing anything to Russia. And at the cost of American soldiers' lives, the same people that he always praises. You don't disrespect our soldiers. You don't, kneeling to the flag is disrespecting our soldiers. Well, you're letting, Russia pay to have our soldiers killed, numbnuts. So why don't you do something, sack up to Putin and actually do something about it, not try to lie to the American people that you just got caught in a lie. It's like, when I catch my kid with his hand in a cookie jar, I'm like, why's your hand in a cookie jar? It's not fake news. No, your hand's in a goddamn cookie jar.
Would he ever say that? Would he ever say fake news? Fake news? It's not really my hand.
If my kid ever said fake news, he'd have to get his own place.
I'd find that more funny than anything else. That'd be great.
It would be kind of funny.
I'd laugh at that.
It's fake news, Daddy.
So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because I'm sure I guess he's trying to find a way to get it out there before it goes out there. Because some people you have to be sort of gentle with now. And you can't sit there and
he's just trying to spin it to where he didn't know anything about it. This, the news just broke, I think, yesterday. Now he's trying to find the leakers. This was like a couple days before where they're like, oh, he didn't know anything about it. He wasn't briefed on it. And you heard the little tidbit, oh, it's not, full agreement on the intelligence community.
Now, would that be considered treason?
If he did, yeah, I would consider that treason.
I mean, if he caught whoever the person was that treason?
I think Trump committed treason.
You think Trump committed treason?
Yeah, if he knew that American soldiers were getting killed and being paid to be killed by Russia, and he didn't do anything about it, he just like,
it's gonna have to.
That's treason.
It's gonna have to figure out like how long they've been doing this. you know.
It doesn't matter the length of time. If one soldier got killed and he knew about it and didn't do anything about it, and he gives
Well,
in to
maybe
everything
maybe he
that's
did. That he was just trying to figure out a way to end this.
And what?
Well, or try to stop them from doing it.
Are you kidding me? Is that what you really think? Or you
I don't know.
I'm
just trying to give a guy a leg up over here because I mean we don't know what's going on behind those doors. We don't know what's happening in their war plan. You know what I'm saying? We can't sit there. We can only justify our opinions based on what we see from the media.
Right, but
so how do you know that he's?
You got to look at the timeline can't talk events though, brother. It came out that this happened. He denied that it happened. They said that he wasn't briefed on it. Then there wasn't any consensus in the intelligence community. And now the newest thing is he's trying to find out who leaked it. So that means it's true.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's only seems like it's true because of the fact that we're seeing it on TV. That doesn't mean
true because it was reported.
No, but I'm saying, but that doesn't mean what's actually really happening, though.
So you don't believe anything anyone ever says just because of news?
I have to take it subjectively, man. You got to understand that this stuff doesn't just come out of Trump's mouth just to come out of Trump's mouth. You know, this stuff, and I'm not defending him. I'm not defending any of the presidents, to be honest with you, because the thing is that a lot of the stuff that comes out, they have tens and thousands of people who write this stuff up and edit this stuff up to make it look, the way it looks. You know what I'm saying? And, the thing is like with anything, whether it be the president, the reality shows, whatever the case may be, we only see on TV what they want us to see on TV. Okay, we're not seeing what's happening really behind the picture. We're not seeing what's going on in that particular meeting room to where he's having all these high-level meetings, and all this stuff like that. We're just seeing what they're reporting. Does that make sense?
I hear what you're saying, but I don't agree with it at all. The fact that he's trying to get the person who leaked it, the whistleblower, which, by the way, whistleblowers are protected under the law. Leaking something's not treason. It's keeping checks and balances within the government.
Because I would think it'd be treason.
No, it's not. It's not treason. And
but I would think it would
under
be.
The law.
You know what I mean?
But he's more mad about
because you even thought it would be treason too.
No. I think Trump not doing anything. The leaker, I think the leaker's a hero if Trump didn't do anything and he's letting the world know it. If Trump didn't do anything and to combat this, he's aiding Russia and killing American soldiers. That is treason.
Well, yeah. But then again, it goes back to my point of like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that you're not around this guy like 24/7.
No one is.
So that's what I'm saying. Nobody knows what's really happening. Nobody knows what's really going on.
But you got to, in this instance, you kind of used common sense. If he's more mad and he's made comments about the leaking and hasn't made comments about Russia paying to have American soldiers killed, that's an issue, man.
No, and I agree with you. It's a huge issue. But I'm just saying is that the reason why I take it subjectively is that you don't know what okay, you heard what Trump said, right? You heard whatever it is that you're hearing it from, whether it be like, Facebook and any of the news outlets, whatever the case may be, right? But my point is that you don't know what's really going on behind there.
But I just don't see, honestly, you might have to walk me through your thought process on this. It's what is there to see if he is mad at the leaker for saying that
I understand right. I understand what you're going through. Let's listen a little bit more to the thing.
Overnight, Intel just spoke to me. What specifically does that mean? Who spoke to him? Did that person, in fact, give the president a full briefing in that conversation?
So I have no further details on the president's private correspondence.
Tell us who's coming to the White House today and who's going to brief those lawmakers.
So what I can tell you about that is that last night, the Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, called both Senator McConnell and Congressman Hoyer and said that he would be briefing 8 members from the committees of jurisdiction. So there was a bipartisan invitation extended, but no further details other than that.
Okay, so back to my first point was that I asked the question of how far was this going on, right?
Or how long it was going on?
Yeah, how far was this going on with Russia being, having bounties on the U.S. troops? Okay, and the reason why is this, is that and going back to my saying that nobody really knows what's going on, is that if this was going on for, let's just say like a week, okay, or 2 weeks, a month, whatever, okay, then yeah, I could see there's a problem. Okay, there's somebody dropped some sort of intelligence somewhere, in the system that, is America, okay? But if this just happened and he's like, he doesn't know what's going on or whatever the case may be, right? If this happened, like he just found out this like 12 hours ago, okay, then you kind of have to sort of, I don't know, do you give him credit?
Okay.
I mean,
I'll put the kibosh on it right now. I just looked it up via the Google machine. Trump, Russia, bounties, knowledge. They knew in 2019 this was happening.
Because see, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is that he's been trying to figure out a way to get or stop him or stop Putin or stop whoever's in charge of the bounty hunters that Russia's using, right? Trying to find a way to stop them or hunt them down or something like that. That's the only way I could see it.
Or he just doesn't care because he's bankrolled by Russia, which is why we don't see his taxes, and he's buddy-buddy with Putin. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't know what the guy does in his own time. I don't know what he knows. I don't see all the meetings. So it's hard to subjectify what's actually true and what's not. Does that make sense?
I mean, I see your point overall, but with this, it's pretty. But if known in 2019, it got leaked to the New York Times, I think it was, or whatever news outlet. It got reported on. Then you have your press secretary say he didn't know about it. Then come back and say there wasn't consensus about it. And now the latest news is he's trying to find out who the leaker is because the leaker's in trouble. He wants the leaker to be in trouble. There's an issue there.
And I see your point being based off of the news stories. You know what I mean? But
being based off of what the White House is saying, dude.
And again, that's coming out of the news outlets. You know what I mean? From the White House. So
it's coming out of her mouth.
No, I know, but they're not going to sit there and make him look dumb. They're going to find a way or change up the script to make it look like it's sort of halfway. Does that make sense?
I just think it makes them look worse and worse.
No, I mean it does, but that's the only thing I can think of because
I mean I don't see the news media being of any blame of fake news or anything at all in this.
Well,
story.
I mean, no, it's reported live. That's what I'm seeing now. But even her writers could be changing it up to make it look a lot less. I don't know. I'm just trying to see both sides of the fence. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's certain things there's no both sides to. I mean, I understand what you're trying to do.
What am I trying to do?
Saying. No, you're trying to, you see, like you said, see both sides of it. But I mean, when you have the evidence that's laid out for you, just
I'd have to see people that they've caught, these bounty hunters, to really kind of justify what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because if they've known about it since 2019, they've got to know who these people are.
Right, and they're not doing anything about it. There's no sanctions, not even a peep. This is a guy that if you say anything bad about him in any way, shape, or form, he jumps on Twitter and he starts attacking you. Not one peep from him, totally quiet, hasn't said a word. They tried to spin it like he wasn't briefed on it.
Is this sort of like the breadcrumb that led to the bigger cake?
Yeah, if it looks like shit, tastes like shit, smells like shit.
Maybe this was his plan all along, was to sit there and put something out there like this to kind of, see what everybody thinks.
If his plan is to put out that I might have committed treason, he's a fucking idiot.
I don't know. I don't know what this guy is thinking. All I hear about is Trump this and Trump that, and I'm like, oh man, come on, can we stop with the? Can you just give the news a rest for like 24 hours?
He's his own worst enemy.
Without bombarding. Well, that's with anybody. That's any president that's been in there. They've done the same exact thing. Clinton
Obama,
Obama this.
Treasonous?
No. I'm just saying, just with all the goddamn news reports, it's like, Jesus Christ, can we just stop with the presidential news reports for like 24 hours? Is that okay to do?
that's what the news's job is to inform us. If they didn't inform us, then we wouldn't know anything. We'd be in the dark on everything.
If I ever
Watergate, Clinton getting a blowjob, everything.
If I ever met a president, I'd be like, the first thing I'd probably tell him was like, that's cool. It's an honor to meet you, no matter who the person is, because where else could you or what other place could you be and knock that off your bucket list to meet a president?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one thing.
But I'd be like, you know what? You're one way on the TV and all the social media that you hear, but then hanging around with you for like a couple days or whatever, you're kind of a cool cat. You know what I'm saying? Meeting him like face to face, one on one, just kind of hanging out, having some coffee, whatever it is, right? Just hanging out. Does that make sense? And then that way, he might be a different person when he's down there. He might be a person that is kind of cool with you, kind of having a beer with you. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I could say that for the most part with most presidents. I think this guy has been who he is since he's been on his reality TV show, been on Howard Stern. Has the same persona, the same narcissistic me attitude, and it's carried over into his presidency, and it continues to this day. What you see and how he talks, that's who he is. And he has people that try to spin it and make him look better than what he actually is. But what you see is what you get with this guy, and I think people are starting to smarten up to it, to be honest with you.
Well, now they're saying that the other story you had on here was Trump administration narrows suspects in Russia bounties leak investigation.
Right. Now he wants to know about the leaks. He wants to know who leaked it.
And this
He's worried
was
about the leak, not about the bounties.
The leak story, right?
Individuals who could have leaked information about Russian agents providing funds to Taliban-linked militants to target American troops in Afghanistan. Politico Playbook reported Tuesday that fewer than 10 people remain on a list of suspects in the
Okay, so he was having Russia put, or was it Russia putting bounties with the desert? What was it called again?
Russia was putting bounties and paying the Taliban to kill
that's what it was.
Taliban-linked militants to target American troops in Afghanistan. Politico Playbook reported Tuesday that fewer than 10 people remain on a list of suspects in the internal investigation, a sign that President Trump is serious about finding and possibly punishing whichever official was behind the leak to the media. The White House has faced a bipartisan storm of criticism from lawmakers and other figures, with Democrats and the president battling over whether Trump was briefed on the bounties and some accusing the president of ignoring his intelligence briefings entirely.
And see, that's the thing, though. I mean, I don't know. Unless these people are reporting it as, hey, look, I've been in the meetings. This is the intelligence brief, right? And he either skips them, he doesn't go to them. That would be a different story. But
dude, let's take it like a real world example with you.
Okay.
Let's, you're in a situation.
Yeah.
And then, someone goes and talks shit to you about someone else, and someone puts it on social media. If it's not true, are you giving it the time of day and trying to find out who talks shit about you? Or if it is true, are you going to get more mad about who's talking shit about you?
I mean, what can you do? It's already out there. So if you try to defend yourself, you're screwed. But then if you say, hey, look, well, whatever, then you're still screwed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because people are going to believe anything that, whatever's out there, whether good or bad. He could sit there and go, hey, look, I just planted, 400 roses for, or trees for, this area or this, whatever the case may be, right? And they go, oh, my God, Trump is doing this and Trump is doing that. And Trump is, he can't plant the tree right. He got it angled right, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, let me throw another.
Okay, Sorry, did I answer that question for you?
Not really, not really. But let's do this. You pissed on someone's car.
Okay.
And you had friends around you seeing you piss on someone's car.
Yeah.
And it was someone that you didn't like. So that one of your friends goes and tells someone, or took a video of it and tells someone, and some anonymous person posts it of you pissing on someone's car. Are you going to be more mad at the person that posted the video, or are you just going to fess up and say, yeah, I made a mistake, I pissed on someone's car?
How drunk was I?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, well, I mean, I have to sort of
Let's just say you were just mad at the person and you pissed on
decided to piss on the guy. Well,
yeah. So are you more mad at the person that leaked it, or are you just going to own up and say, hey, I fucked up and pissed on someone's car?
I mean, what are you going to do with it? The camera speaks for itself.
The same thing with these intelligence reports.
I mean, but is there any intelligence reports inside where it's coming from? It's just hearsay. It's just words coming out from another person's mouth that this is what happens.
It's coming from our intelligence. So are we saying that our intelligence is hearsay?
I'm talking about the ones who leaked this stuff, or are you talking about the CIA people?
I'm just talking about the people who, we don't know who leaked it. It could have been anyone from Britain, France, Iran, Israel.
It's got to be somebody that's inside the White House, because then
it doesn't have to be. It could be someone in the intelligence community.
But couldn't they just? That's what I'm saying. But didn't they just say that he's been found to not go to his briefings or not paying attention to his briefings?
Well, then that in itself is a bad indication why he shouldn't be president.
But why
are you not paying attention to your briefings?
No, but what I'm saying is that's just. I guess what I'm saying is I need some sort of proof to justify that he's, or if not, that I'm just going on hearsay. I'm going on. It's like when you tell somebody, hey, look, the sky is green, and you tell that person, and that person goes, hey, you know what, the sky is like a bluish green, and you tell that person, oh, you know what, that guy is like a greenish yellow, and so on and so forth, like the phone game if you played it when you were a kid. Yeah. So therefore, what we're hearing is hearsay. Where's the actual proof that this guy is not paying attention, or where's the actual proof that show me some sort of video or something. Just like you said with the the pissing on the car, and there's video of it. Okay, well there's video of it. What can I say to defend myself on that?
Well, one, we're never going to know. We're never going to be given proof because it's going to be classified information.
Exactly. So how do we know that is not what's being spewed out is not really what's going on?
And why is he trying to find out who leaked the information unless he was guilty of it? Here's what I could probably think that he's probably doing, right? And I'm just saying, this is my opinion. I don't even know, this is very way political talk for me anyways. But I'm just saying with this, is that maybe he wanted to, what was the question again? Sorry. I said, if he attacks the leakers and he's more mad about the leakers and hasn't mentioned a word about,
I know where I know where I was going with that. Okay. If he's in a higher power, right? Do you agree? Right? He's the highest position that you can go to, correct?
Most powerful guy in the world. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So if you're that person, right, and you sit there and you go, hey, look, there's a person who has been leaking information from our blah, 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 whatever, right? I would expect somebody at that type of level, right, to figure out who it is, okay? Not to say that whatever the conversation was, take that all out of the game, but you don't know how much has been leaked. You don't know what's been leaked. You don't know how it's going to affect the economy if it's leaked, how it's going to affect different things in this world because it's leaked, okay? I mean, there's some things that, probably maybe, even though I believe that it should be, an open book over there, right? But there might be some things that maybe don't need to be leaked or talked about at that particular time because of the timetable. Does that almost like, you ever seen the movie, what's it called, with Samuel L. Jackson, and it's where the asteroid hits the Earth, right?
There's either Armageddon or Deep Impact.
Deep Impact. Okay.
That's Morgan
perfect
Freeman.
example. Or Morgan Freeman. Sorry. Perfect example with that movie, right? The leaker leaked the thing. Okay, and even Morgan Freeman explains if we would announce this any earlier, there'd be widespread panic, and we'd all kill ourselves in the end, anyways. You see what I'm saying?
Right. But here's the problem. Here's the problem with it is at first he denied it. They denied it. He didn't know anything about it. The story just, you know how you tell a fishing story, it gets more exaggerated.
Yeah.
First, he didn't know anything about it. It wasn't true. Then there wasn't consensus. Then it was he was briefed on it. Then it was now he's mad and he's trying to find the leaker. So the chain of events lets me come to the conclusion. You're talking about evidence. It's like a timeline if you're watching Forensic Files or something. So the chain of events has led me to believe he knew something about this. He hasn't done anything about it. You know, he was caught with his hand in the cookie jar, and now he was mad that he was caught.
I don't know. I mean, I see what you're saying with it, and I understand it. I get it, you know. But I think that I also have to think that this has to be well thought out and well planned, because it just seems to, like with Nixon, with him being caught red-handed, you know what I mean? That's a different way of looking at it, because you have that. I guess it's almost to say like you have to see Bigfoot firsthand to believe that it's real. You know what I mean? So in that, analogy, you'd almost have to see exactly what's going on to believe that this is actually what's happening.
But we're never going to see that stuff, so that's why we have to rely on these people that leak
and justify it for what it is,
and
right?
Also have the news media report on it and have that checks. But that's why Trump is such an opponent of the news media, because they're calling him out on his shit. He doesn't like it, and anything negative or anything that paints him in a bad light, he deems fake. It's not fake. He just doesn't like it.
And you know what? I think it's quite funny, to be honest with you, just because seeing you talk about Trump, seeing everybody report about Trump, listening to people talk about Trump is so hilarious, to be honest with you, because some people get so emotional with it, which is cool with me. I don't really support any president, to be honest with you. I feel that our nation should be like Canada and just be neutral. But
Canada has a leader. They have Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, but they're still.
Everyone has a leader,
but they're still cool, though. You know what I mean? It's like when they want to. Hey,
there's people that don't. You're always going to find someone that doesn't like whomever their leader is.
Yeah. I'm just saying we could just be cool about things and just take things with a grain of salt and not be so upset about what certain things happen or certain things say. And I just think it's funny because people take it so seriously, like it's affecting their sleep and it's affecting their way of life and that's why a lot of jobs don't even want people talking politics, because they get so emotional with it.
Well, I mean, to rebut that, the president's actions does have an impact on our daily lives. If he's not taking action on,
so let me ask you this:
paying to have our soldiers killed, he's affecting soldiers and their families.
Well, of course, and I agree with that, and I think that's horrible if that's the case. But let me ask you this: and I know there's going to be a lot of people who will go, "Oh my God, this is the worst." But if you see Trump picking his nose live on TV, would you think that's funny, or would you be offended by that?
I wouldn't be shocked by it. I think he'd actually eat it.
I would think that would be the most hilarious thing on the nose if he just sitting there in the background and just sort of like, and if you know who what's going on, you probably know that this is his way of planning to sit there and go, you know what, this is all for the guys who are sitting there talking bad shit about me, right? Just give them some little bit of worms, a little bait. You know what I mean?
See, to use your example, the problem with Trump isn't that he would be caught picking his nose on TV. The problem is it would be reported that he picked his nose live on TV. But then Trump would jump on Twitter and say, no, he didn't pick his nose on TV. He was scratching his ear.
But that would even be funnier, though. How funny would that be just to see everybody get so worked up about that?
You're always going to have someone that gets worked up about that.
But that is just, and that's what I'm saying. All these people are just so funny about talking about Trump. Oh, my gosh, it's hilarious.
We do have some action in the chat here. Juan says, okay, let's stop bashing Trump for 24 hours. Let's focus on Ron DeSantis. We'll get to him in a minute. He's an asshole, too. Juan says Belly will have coffee with Trump so he could throw a cup at him.
Oh, geez. Hold on. We got a phone call. Hold on. Oh, Lord. Let's see what happens.
Call from
Simon.
Simon, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the show.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, how are you comparing Russia hiring mercenaries to kill U.S. troops to Trump picking his nose on TV?
I was comparing more of a comedic. Excuse me. Listen, that was a conversation I thought we ended about that, and then sort of kind of lighten up the mood with, hey, look, what happens if Trump picks his nose? It'd be funny as hell. So that's where that came out of. I wasn't comparing both of them. I mean,
like people are reporting on it like, oh, they're going to report on anything. It's like,
well, they would.
This is Russia hiring people to murder U.S. troops, and you're comparing it to, oh, well, yeah, they'd report on anything, like even if he picked his nose.
They do report on anything. Have you seen the news? Have you watched it?
Yes, I have.
Have you listened to it?
How do you compare Russia hiring mercenaries?
I wasn't comparing it to
it,
sir. I mean, that's not what you're understanding.
Trump picking his nose.
I was not comparing either or. What I said, if you listen to it, was that I was saying it's a horrible thing with Russia and hiring these bounty hunters to go after our U.S. troops. It's very horrible. And sort of at the end of the conversation, going into picking up what we call pulling up the nose, a little lighter version of it, was I was discussing about how it'd be funny if the reporters reported on him like picking his nose. There was no comparison to it. There's no parallel to that. You can't sit there and compare, bounty hunters being called after of our troops.
I agree, but the way you were saying it, it's like, oh, they're just going to report on anything.
Well, they do. They do report on anything.
That should be reported on. This is something that the government should be involved in. This is something the president not only should be aware of, but should be acting on.
But do you not agree that a lot of the stuff that you see on the news is not really, maybe it's just something that they want to report on to cover their own ass? Because it did got leaked, so the guy came out, or whoever that said, the person who said it, so now they're reporting it, so now it's like, okay, well, look, this may affect our plans that we have for doing this to try to solve this problem, and it got leaked. Do I agree that it should be out in the open? Of course. But then again, if it gets reported, what's to say that these guys have something else in plan for other things that goes on because they see it on the news? Just like that movie Behind Enemy Lines, where the guy got captured or his plane went down, and they broadcast it all over the whatever the news channel they had on there, and it made it even worse. So there's certain things that the news should sort of think back and go, well, maybe we should hold off or something like that, but because it could affect the way that things go. But I was not comparing it with picking his nose to that. That's just a horrible thing to say.
All right, it really sounded like you were trying to make it seem like those were apples to apples.
Come on, man. If you were sitting there listening to it, you would have heard that I would have said,
I was listening.
All right, well, I just want to make sure.
I mean, look into the comments. I was listening.
All right, but I was not comparing it. What my comparison was is that the news does report on almost everything that goes on, and my pulling up the nose.
He's the president of the United States.
Right, and I'm not disagreeing with you, sir, but my point is that if the president, how funny would that be if the president picked his nose and it was sort of a scoff to the people who sort of pull up everything, like your trolls, if you will, right? They pull everything out and report it and making it a big deal. That's what I was making the comedic value, painting a picture of. Because it does sort of get irritating when you can't even, go somewhere or walk out into your own backyard and have to be reported on because he wore a pair of shorts and, a nice little outside shirt just to go out and just kind of get some air.
Yeah, it's almost like people comparing someone wearing a tan suit and saying that that's some sort of offense.
I don't see what the problem is. If the guy wants to wear a tan suit, let him wear a tan suit. Who cares?
Yeah, but it still gets reported on.
That's what I'm saying.
The president of the United States of America.
But
anything he does is supposed to be reported on.
But no, it doesn't have to be. There's no law saying that.
It does, because anything he does, he's the leader of the quote-unquote free world.
Yes, but there's
no more nukes than anyone else in the world. If he's having a bad day,
I'm thoroughly entertained
it could
by
be really bad for a lot of people.
I'm getting a stiffy right now.
Listen. The news media does not have to report on every single thing. They choose what they want to report on. There's no law saying that you have to report on everything that the president does, no matter who he is. There's no law stating that. I don't know where you got that from.
Not saying they legally have to, but these are reporters who.
Have you ever been to a news press conference? Have you ever been to a news press conference?
Not in a long time.
Okay. Have you ever seen, like, pre-COVID-19, have you ever seen how nasty that these people get? And the reason why you see the camera views of like 1,000,001 microphones in there is because some of these guys are paid to get as close as they can, and then what they do is they spin it, okay, into their own little deals.
No, you're always going to have guys that.
And
do
so
that.
my point is that, you know, this is a dog-eat-dog world in the media outlets. You know, you can sit there and have the full story, but then you have to spin it to make it look nicer or seem, you know, crazy on the news. It's not about, hey, this, because if they were reported like actually what's going on, it would be a very boring story and they lose viewership. Okay? So my thing is that
this is not one of those boring stories.
I'm not. Wow. Belly, did you understand what I was referring to?
I hear what you're saying, but I think it was kind of.
All right, for some reason I can only hear you, Bull. I can't hear Belly.
No, I can't hear me at all.
You should. I got you on the board right here, bud.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, so what I'm trying to say is that I was trying to pull the nose up with the deal and said, hey, look, you know, let's have some comedic value with this. And then wouldn't it be funny if he just sort of like a scoff to people who just pull up anything about him, want to make a big deal about him, that he's picking his nose? That's all I was trying to do, sir. You know?
All right.
I was trying to make the show a little bit greater. I appreciate you listening, though.
If you can't hear me, ask him how he thinks I'm doing.
What's that?
I said, if you can't hear me, ask him how he thinks I'm doing.
Hey, let me ask you this. How do you think Belly is doing on the show?
I think he's doing wonderful.
How do you
short
think?
Notice, I think you did a great interview, and you did a good interview as well.
Well, thank you. Kind of need that. So, who do you like more? Do you like Belly or do you like Bull?
I like listening to Belly a little bit more.
Oh,
I can't drop my mic. It's on a stand.
That's 1 point for Belly. So, do you think that you want to hear more from, like, do you want Bull to shut up more or do you want Belly to talk more?
I think you should definitely contribute. I think he should lead the show.
Well, that's what he's supposed to do. I don't know if he's doing it now.
No, I suck.
I mean, that's usually what a host does. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty cool behind the mic. I think I'm pretty awesome. How do you like the channel? Let me ask you that.
Been
the
a fan
Bulls
since
Radio
it
Lounge.
started.
Huh?
Been a fan since it started. Well,
Wow.
since Belly's been on.
Oh,
even with the original show.
Which was the off the cuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, the one that you keep referring to, dickhead.
Hey, I want to make sure there's a lot of shows on there.
I hear you.
So you like the channel. How many videos have you watched with the channel?
Pretty much everyone Belly's been on.
Oh, jeez. This guy.
He's my stalker T.
I guess. There you go. All right. Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you calling in.
Thanks for the call, Simon.
Listen, this is just, opinion-based show. This is not, whatever. So don't take it too personally. Don't lose any sleep, my friend, because you know what? It's not worth, being mad at Trump because of whatever.
Of course. You have a good night.
You too, my friend.
Bye.
Thank you, Simon.
All right, there you go. First caller of the night.
Man, that got heated. I loved it.
I know. I mean, it's like, he was trying to.
If the callers can't hear me on this setup, we got to figure it out in case someone wants to call me an
Yeah,
asshole.
and that's the problem too. I had everything all worked out. And I don't know what's going on, but I'll have it worked out. I'll figure it out this week. So it's not a big deal.
I could be talking to them. They could be like everyone else in my life.
I thought you were. I thought it was all going up. You know what I mean?
I could hear you. I could hear him perfectly fine, but you couldn't hear me, I guess.
Oh, I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it, buddy. I got you.
But
all right. So let me ask you this: did you have any more?
Yep.
You got a couple more stories in the hopper?
Yeah, we've been on for a good 2 hours. We had a good, passionate debate. I mean, we could save it for the Sunday show.
All right,
I
got
we
you.
probably won't talk about 4th of July, but we can get into coronavirus. Let's see what happens the rest of the week, and we'll talk about
The
Ron
coronavirus
DeSantis.
next week.
Yeah, on Sunday, and
Okay.
then we'll see how Florida's doing by Sunday.
All right. So the 4th of July we're not going to talk about.
Yeah, forget it.
Was it
It's,
funny?
I mean, but No, I mean it's just Trump, being Trump again and gaslighting and saying stupid shit. But I mean, I'm sure he'll say stupid shit between the time we get off the air on Sunday anyway. So I'll have something else to talk about.
And more COVID-19 talk on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll talk about we're gonna get more into Florida, not the coronavirus in general.
More Florida COVID-19.
Yeah. And then we could talk about Ron DeSantis because I hate his ass just as much as I hate Trump.
That's been a staple. Just the COVID-19.
Me hating things?
No, yeah, pretty much. All right, let me do this real quick. I wanted to do this earlier, but I didn't have. I wasn't expecting the Russia deal.
You like that, right?
That was pretty good. I wasn't expecting that. I want to introduce possibly a great partnership, right? And it's called Keel and Curly. They're a wine. A winery is a winery or
the Keel and Curly Winery in Plant City, Florida.
Is it Plant City or Thonotosassa?
They're on Thonotosassa, Plant City.
Okay,
it is Thonotosassa. Right.
So if you go to Keel and Curly, I'll try to see if you'll do it. KeelandCurly.com. You'll be able to shop a lot of different wines. I have tasted the Key Lime, right? Which is the Key West Key Lime, which is fantastic.
Which you're not really a wine guy.
No, so I listen. I have not liked wine. I've tasted it when I was younger, in the early 2000s and stuff like this periodically, and I do not like wine. I don't like red or white. But let me tell you this is a very special wine, and if you're not a wine connoisseur, this will be probably the best thing that you can get to taste. And I'm trying to remember what the other one was called, and I have two more in the fridge, and I'm going to do a wine opening here soon, live on the show, live on the channel here soon. So yeah, Keel and Curly. Just go to KeelandCurly.com.
Well, I'm looking at it right now. It's keelfarms.com. That's
Keel Farms?
Okay. Farms.com. They're located on 5210th and Onasassa Road in Plant City. If you have any questions, you can shoot them shoot them an email at info@keelandcurlywinery.com.
And I think it was a strawberry that I had last time. That was really good. Okay, strawberry wine. Oh, great stuff. But they have like live shows out there, all kinds of stuff. So, KeelFarms.com, your one-stop shop for everything wine. You can get beers, you can get ciders and wines, top sellers, all that and more. And just stop in for a free, for a bottle tasting or a glass tasting, whatever you want to do. They have all kinds of clubs: a 2-bottle wine club pickup, 4-bottle wine pickup, 6-bottle wine club pickup, and a 4-bottle wine club delivery. Come straight to your house. Just sign for it. Open it up. Actually, you might want to refrigerate it first and then open it up. For about an hour or so. That's what I like. KeelFarms.com. Check them out. They're out there in Thonotosassa. Great place.
Man, we should see if we can work something. If someone goes in and mentions like Gut Check with Belly or Bulls Radio Lounge or something, maybe they get like 5% off.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk with them. Right, the song's going to change here in a minute, but I'm going to talk to them. And thank you for doing that liner with me. That was great. Good job.
No problem, brother.
I'm going to chop that up and send it to them.
I do want to also plug the new Twitter that we have for Gut Check with Belly. Just go ahead and follow or tweet me at livegut, LIVEGUT. That's the new Twitter for the show. We also have the Facebook page. Just search for Gut Check with Belly live on Facebook, and you also search Bulls Radio Lounge. You should be able to find it that way as well.
Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you doing this.
No problem, brother.
You've been awesome. Thank you for your first job on your interview, by the way.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I was a little nervous, man, but
that's all right.
Power through it, bro.
Do you remember what the YouTube page was?
For Rick Danford?
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, no, because I closed it out, so I apologize.
Oh man, come on, really?
I apologize, man. I was getting errors on YouTube. I was trying to figure it out because I was trying to do the chat, and my whole computer was screwing with me. And
did it mess up?
Yeah, it messed up a little bit. But I mean, we can get it.
I got you right now. I got it right here, buddy. I'm right here.
I got you.
No Sleep Tonight radioshow.com. No Sleep Tonight radioshow.com. That's his new podcast. I've listened to all 3 of them so far. Fantastic. YouTube.com. Don't forget to search Bulls Radio Lounge, also on YouTube. Hit that, please listen. I need you to hit the subscribe button. I need you to hit the like button. Hit that notification bell. That way, every video that I put up here, whether it be drone footage, whether it be just, show footage or whatever you know about, and there's going to be a lot more coming up here soon. Thanks again to Belly for doing Gut Check with Belly Live, special Wednesday edition.
Thank you for having me, as usual.
So just check it out, facebook.com, Bulls Space Radio Lounge. That's about it for me. I didn't overstep the bounds, did I?
No, man. You're good.
All right, cool. So thank you so much, Belly. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Chewy Rocks, the EP for the channel. Thank you so much for what you do. Anything else?
I just do want to give a special thank you for Madam Belly for dealing with me doing the show here in the dining room.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And no, you're good. She's been great. And thank you for dealing with my germophobia and me not wanting to leave to go to the studio. I love it.
It's no big deal, man. It's all good.
I was telling my wife I love her, not you.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I love you too. So thank you so much for doing the show. I appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it.
And to all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you commenting and liking. There's an Amazon wish list out there as well. Just search on Amazon wish list. I think it's Bulls Radio Lounge, and you'll see it up there. That way you can get some equipment, and stuff like that, and start getting some better equipment. You can donate to the show right there there's like a link right there, and just donate, and that way we can start buying new cords, new mics, all that stuff. We need your help. That's what we need to make this a beautiful world. We need your help. Right, Belly?
That's right. We always need the help. And I also do want to thank the listeners that, may not get a chance to listen at 11:30 at night on a Wednesday, but listen throughout the week, and also go back and listen to the other shows, because I do check on the other shows, and the views still are going up on those. So
that's good. I think it went up to
greatly appreciate it.
A lot more. So I told you it would go well. It would go well. It's a hot topics. So
having fun.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Belly. Thank you, Chewy Rocks. Thank you, all the listeners. I am Bull, live with Belly. This is Belly. This is Gut Check with Belly live. Thank you so much.
We'll do it again on Sunday.
That's right. Sunday at 8:30, respectively. So if we can call the hamsters up. All right, man. We'll talk to you next Sunday, yeah?
Talk to your brother.
All right, man. We'll check it. See you later.
Everyone, be safe. Wear your mask.
Yeah. Bye.